This is Piyush here. So this is going to be a very short tutorial on how to create a IPython notebook server on an AWS instance, AWS EC2 instance. So this is my AWS page and I'll sign into the console to begin with it. Okay, my username and password are already there. I'll just log in and I'll go to EC2 and start a new server, launch a new instance. Okay, I'll select the free tiers and select Ubuntu for it. I just want a micro one, so that's free. Configure, I don't need to change anything over here. And over here I'll create the root directory to be of 30 GBs. 30 GBs is free for 1 year with Amazon AWS. And then I don't need, just tag my instance with the name iPython. And this is the most important step. You have to configure the security groups as it is what I'm doing. So you can keep the name anything, whatever you want. I'll keep it iPython underscore notebook, and similarly I'll put over here iPython underscore notebook, and I'll keep the created date so that I know when it was created. So we need 3 rules for it. We'll add 3 rules. The first one is SSH at port 22 and keep it anywhere. Second would be HTTPS, because we're going to access our notebook through HTTPS, and we'll create a certificate for it, self-signed certificate for it. It will be on port 443, and this should also be on anywhere. The third one, keep it as custom TCP rule and keep it on port 8888. So this will be the port which will serve our IPython notebook, and I'll keep it anywhere also. Remember, these 3 should be there according to the ports should be there, and SSH, HTTPS and custom TCP rules, and this should all be anywhere so that you can access it from anywhere. And I'll review and launch. It's okay, I'll launch it. I already have an existing key pair, but if you don't have an existing key pair, you can create a new one over here, and remember to download it, because this is the only place where you can create a key pair and download. Other than this, there is no other way to download the key pair. So I have an existing key pair, I'll use it, and I acknowledge that it's already existing. Launch the instance. It'll take some time, and it doesn't take a lot of time. That's the best part of AWS. So you can see I already tried once and have terminated that system. So our system is being initialized. Let's see how much time will it take. So you guys are wondering why to use IPython notebook on a server. The best part of it is, like, if you keep it on an AWS server, so you will keep all your IPython notebooks at one place, and you can access it from anywhere throughout the world. So that's the one best thing you can do, and you don't need to keep it every time. You don't need to look at your system every time. You can create it. You can use it through your browser as well. Okay, I think it's initialized. I'll just go here. And I know. Okay, and the second thing is, you click on this and go to connect, and here you will see the SSH way to do it. So I'm using it on a Mac, so I can SSH into it through my terminal. The next thing is, always remember the certificate file which you download, the key pair file, sorry, the PEM file which you download, you should provide it chmod 400. If you don't do this privileges to the don't give this privileges to the PEM file, you won't be able to access the server. So I have already done this step, that's why I don't need to do it again. I'll just copy this. And then I'll go into my documents where my PEM file is located, and I'll paste this thing. Do you want to add it to RSA? Yes, I'll do it. Okay, so now I'm in my EC2 instance. You can see Ubuntu at IP. So the IP which I used initially was the public IP, and this which is being displayed over here, it's the private IP. You can verify private IP 172.31.63.89. Okay, and the public IP which we used was this one, 52.1.180.135. It's fine. And the next thing we need to do is we need to get the Anaconda distribution, because we're going to use Anaconda. I don't want to install each and every Python library. I'll use the Anaconda distribution, which has all the Python libraries which are needed for any purposes, I think. Yeah, it's the best distribution I've ever seen. And it's free, of course, the best part of it. So this is the command to get the Anaconda. Just verify the latest version. I have already checked it through the Anaconda website, and the latest one available is 2.10. Yeah, it's pretty quick, so it will download it pretty fast. Okay, this is done, this is downloaded, and to verify it you can just ls and see there is a sh file available over here, and I'll bash that sh file. Okay, enter. This gives you the license. I'll just have gone through the license. You want, you can go through the license also, and press enter and enter to confirm the location. By default it will install in your home Ubuntu and the Anaconda folder. So you can see this is installing all the necessary Python libraries. We'll have all the good libraries, the Python, HDF5, IPython notebook, and IPython, and we'll have I think we have we have matplotlib. I think matplotlib is coming soon. It's here. Let's see. Yes, we have matplotlib. You can see over here, and we'll have scikit-image, scikit-learn, and all the good libraries which we require. The networkx is also here if you use networkx. OpenSSL is here. It will not take long, so I'm not pausing the video, so let it keep on going. Scikit-image is coming, and scikit-learn is there. All the latest versions. SciPy is there, yes. NumPy is also there. So basically all the important Python libraries which you are going to use for your development purposes are all provided in Anaconda distribution. Yeah, it's almost done. So this is asking if you want to add it to your bash RC profile. Yes, I want to do that. And this is done. So first of all, I'll check which Python I'm using, the default one or the one we installed with Anaconda. So I'll type, which Python. Right now it's being used the default one because I have not reloaded my bash RC. So to reload the bash RC, I'll just use source.bashrc. And now if I do which Python, you can see it's using from the Anaconda folder. Okay, cool. Right, so the next step would be, this is done, and the next step would be to generate a password, because we need a password to log into the IPython notebook terminal. So first of all, I'll go into IPython, and then this is my IPython terminal, and I'll do from ipython.lib import passwd. I'm doing this because I need a SHA version of my password, so I'm doing this passwd. You can enter any password, and this will give you SHA format of your password, encrypted format. So just copy this because you're going to use this at a later stage. Copy and paste it somewhere with you. Cool. And now you can exit this. Okay, the next thing which we are going to do is create the IPython notebook configurations. So for that thing, we're going to use the command iPython profile create NB server. And there it goes. This command will create all the configuration files for the notebook which we need to use. Sounds good. And the next field would be to create the certificate. As we discussed, we need to create a certificate. So I'll copy this command over here, and so first of all, I'll create a folder to store my certificate. I'll create a certs folder, and then I'll go into my certs folder, okay, and I'll paste this command. So this command is creating a self-signed certificate by the name mycert.pem. Oh, sorry, it has to be a root command, so I'll do sudo into this. Okay, cool. So it will ask some questions. You can answer those questions as you want, but if you don't want to answer, just if you can put a dot and press enter, it will take it as blank. Answer at US, state I'll put California, rest I'll leave blank. Okay, cool. So my certificate is there. You can ls and see there's a mycert.pem file available, right? I'll clear this terminal. Now I want to configure my notebook server, so I'll have to go into this folder which contains my notebook configuration files, and let's go into this. Okay, and over here if you ls, you'll see there are three configuration files, and I want to change this iPython notebook.config. So I'll do vi iPython notebook.py. Okay, so here you can see there are a lot of notebook configurations which are provided, so you can uncomment them and use it as you want. But instead of going through the whole file and uncommenting it, I have already written what all things I need, and I'll just copy paste that. Sorry, yeah, this is already there. Get config is already there, and I'll go here, insert the remaining. Okay, so I'm going to explain you what else this is. The first one is ip kernel app.pylab is equal to inline. So this is required if you want the plots to be generated in the notebook itself. So that's why we do it inline. The next one is using the cert file. I'm providing the location of my cert file, which is home Ubuntu in the certs folder, and the file name mycert.pem. The notebook app IP, it should be accessible from any IP address, and open browser should be false. If you forget to do this false thing, you won't be able to access your notebook from any browser. Notebook password, over here I have to put the password which I created earlier, the SHA encrypted password. So I'll just copy it and paste it here. So this is gonna be my password for the notebook, and this is gonna be my port. So I used a port on which the iPython notebook runs usually. So because it's a known port to me, so I'll use this port. And this is done, and I'll save this file. Cool. The next step is, it's almost done, so now we just have to start the server. So I'll go into my root, and over here I'll create a new folder named iPython _notebooks, and I'll go into this folder so that all my notebooks is in a particular location on my server. Okay, and from here I can start iPython notebook profile is equal to NB server. Perfect. So you see my iPython notebook is running at port 8088, and I can go through my browser and try and access that port. So for that I need to copy my public DNS of my system, of my server, and HTTPS into it, port 8888. So you will get this thing because the browser sees that it's not a well-known certificate, but we have signed it, so we know it's okay. Go to advanced, proceed to this, and here we are in our IPython notebook, and I can use my password to log into it. You can see it's having no folder, no notebooks right now because I haven't created any notebook. Okay, so what now? So the one thing to remember about it, if you close this SSH access, you won't be able to access your notebook again. So I'll show you how it does. So if I close this, do you want to close it? This is terminate my SSH process. And now if I go and try to access it, I won't be able to access my notebook because I have lost my connection to the server and the notebook server is not running. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll go back again into my server and show you how to keep this process alive for always. And sorry, I need to ssh minus I dot pem .2 52.1.180.135. Okay, so now I'm back into my server, and what I'll do, I'll go into my IPython notebooks folder, and over here I'll do no hop. No hop means no hang up, so even if I close my SSH access, this process will still be running always. So I'll do no hop IPython notebook profile is equal to nb server. You'll not see any output, you'll just see this line, no hop ignoring input and appending output to no hop.out. So whatever we were seeing earlier without no hop, it's all added to this file no hop.out. So now if you go and try to access this again, you see you can access it. You can see your IPython notebook. Cool. And if you stop this over here, I stop this and do ls, there is no hop.out over here, and if I check what is the contents of that, you'll see it started the IPython notebook at port 8088 and then I stopped it. Okay, and if you want to see, I think you'll still be able to access this. No, you're not able to access it because we have stopped the no hop thing. So let's start the no hop again. Let me see if there's a process running. Yes. So to check if the PID of a no hop process, what we need to do is use a command called lsof. It will give us the PID of the no hop process. We have to use lsof with no hop.out. Okay, lsof no hop.out. So this command is used to kill the get the PID of the process, and so that you can kill it. So like if you have logged in, you have created a no hop of your IPython notebook and you have closed your server access, you have closed your SSH access, and at some point you want to close this IPython notebook server, then you have to come in back, log in through SSH into the server and get the PID of this no hop. So right now if I do lsof no hop.out, there is nothing because no server is being run. So I'll show you what I mean to say. So now I'll do the no hop command again. No hop IPython notebook profile nb server, and I'm gonna close this. This is running and I'm gonna close this SSH access. Okay, and now let me try and access it. You can see it's accessible. Even if I'm not in my SSH, it's accessible. Okay, cool. And the next thing which I want to show is how to close this no hop if you want to do it at some point. So I'll go into my documents again, and I'll get into the SSH of my thing, of my server, ls. I'll go into iPython notebooks, and if you see PS, if you see all the processes, running processes, you will not see the nohub process being run over here, because I think it's due to you logged out of the server and then came back into it, so that's why it's not showing. But to see this, we can do lsof, the command which we discussed, nohub.out, and this will show you that we have nohub process running with the PID of 2103. So what you can do is kill -9 2103. So we are forcing the kill for this process, and now if you do the same command again, you'll see there's no process because our nohub is shut down, and if I try to access my Python notebook again, it will not be accessible. Cool. So I'll leave this notebook accessible. I'll do the nohub again. Nohub iPython notebook profile is equal to nb server, and close this off. Yes, my Python notebook is back again. Right, so that's all this tutorial was about. I'll put the commands for this tutorial on my blog, and the link to that blog will be posted with this in the description of this video. And see you guys later. Bye.